All right. Trying to live stream the view of Mars from the Leitner Observatory. Uh, but the clouds are coming and going, and so we'll see how it goes. Um, let's see what the clouds are doing right now. So take a quick view of the observatory deck. See, I'll turn on my camera too. There I am. Hello. Who's watching? Anyone out there watching? A couple people watching. So it's pretty cloudy. Clouds are kind of coming and going. So if you've gone outside to look at the sky, you see it's so-so. So I took some images of Mars a little bit earlier this evening, which I can show you to give a demo of what I was looking at before. So I'm looking at the 12-inch telescope here out on the observing deck. It's pretty dewy and humid out there, so I had to set up the dew zapper on the telescope to kill off the moisture on the telescope. Let's see what we're looking at right now. All right, so here's where we're pointed at the in the sky. So we've got Jupiter and Saturn going down over in the southwest, and we've got the last quarter moon over here near the Pleiades. There's the Pleiades cluster right there, and there's Mars right there in Pisces. All right, let's try, let's see what we've got on the camera right now. Nothing. This is a live view from the video camera that's on the telescope. Let's see if we raise the exposure time a bit. Nothing but noise. Look at the cloud layer again. The clouds are pretty thick, but they're patchy. It's not completely overcast. So a couple of times I saw the moon and Mars come out from behind the clouds. All right, so maybe clouded out, so I may try this again tomorrow. Let me demo the image that I got a little bit earlier tonight when I first set up the telescope. So, oh wait, oh there it comes. All right, so there's Mars right there. All right, let me lower the exposure time a bit. Oops, oh, just disappeared again. So we had Mars briefly. Yeah, it's disappointing because it was pretty clear this afternoon, and then the forecast was for, there comes Mars again. The forecast was for clear skies all night, but now it's looking like tomorrow's going to be better. Okay, so there it comes. All right, looks like it's out from behind the clouds. So let's get reasonable brightness and contrast and see if we can see some surface details. There may be a bit of condensation on the telescope as well. There we go. So I dial in the gain and the exposure time. Boy, it's not as steady as it was earlier in the evening. You know, space weather was promising Hubble Space Telescope quality images of surface details on Mars, and yeah, don't believe that. Not too bad. It's the seeing is worse now than it was earlier in the evening. Go with a little bit higher gain and a little bit shorter exposure time. So with a shorter exposure time, every so often the atmosphere is steady for a fraction of a second, and you can see a nice sharp image of Mars. And that actually allows you to get a super sharp image even with the atmospheric seeing being bad. Hey, that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's see what it's supposed to look like right now, and we can identify some of those surface features. I'm going to switch over to Stellarium. So here is a view of Mars in Stellarium right now. And you won't see these moons. These moons are too faint to be seen in a telescope this size. But you can see these surface features, I think. So there's Hellas Planitia, which is a lower it's an impact crater on Mars, and it's a lower elevation than the rest of Mars. It's a little bit brighter. And then this area here, up here is, what is this called? This is from the area in the Martian. Here, let's look it up in, let's see, switch over to Google Mars. So this is Hellas Planitia, and then you see this kind of fork-shaped region, and then a dark region down here, and this especially dark region down here, which is kind of the highlands coming up from, there we go, Arabia Terra. So that's where the Martian is set in the craters around here, and Pathfinder rover is somewhere over here, so Matt Damon makes a trip to the Pathfinder rover. But anyway, invisible, I'm using Google Mars here, so mars.google.com. So that shiny area there is Hellas Planitia and Arabia Terra up here, and then there's a dark region kind of coming down and forking and then coming down. And I think that's what we're seeing here, yeah. So Hellas Planitia, that forked area. Mars Curiosity is like over here somewhere, the Curiosity rover. All right, let's go back to the live image now. Hey, oh, whoops, come back. Hey, it's still clear. Yeah, I can definitely see those features. Yeah, so it's not a super steady image, but, oh, and it just went away. All right, not such a great view tonight. Let me show you the image that I got earlier in the evening. So I was using this program called AutoStacker, and basically it'll take a movie of a planet or something like that and find the sharpest images in the movie and then combine them. And then you can basically go through the frames and pull out the ones that are sharpest and then add those together to get a better image. So I tried that earlier this evening and made this image. Let me show you here. Let's see. This is the movie that I took earlier today. Right. So the movie, the color's a little bit off, so I need to adjust the color. And then here's the image. It's a little bit earlier in the evening, so Mars was rotated a little bit. But yeah, you can definitely see the surface features, and can't really see the polar ice cap there. Where's the polar ice cap going to be? I think it's sort of spring or fall on Mars right now. And so the, yeah, so the polar ice cap is right there, and it's not very reflective right now, and so I'm not really seeing it in the image either. Let's see here. Oh, video's gone again. Oh, there it comes, okay. Yeah, about the same as before. So I'm going to save a little video again and then pull out the best frames and see if I can get a second image. So I just have to record a little video here. All right, so I'm just reading out at 20 frames per second that video and saving that, and I'll go in and sharpen it up and try and identify all of the features that I can. If there were a polar ice cap, which would be the most reflective part of Mars, it would be down here. Yeah, pretty good opposition. See what it looks like tomorrow night. More surface features than I've seen in the last couple of oppositions. Of course, often at opposition, sometimes at opposition, Mars is covered in dust storms. That happened in 2018. So we didn't really get a good view of Mars at opposition in 2018 because of the global dust storm. So weather on Mars is good at this opposition. All right, anyone watching? Couple of people are watching. Anyone have any questions for me? Feel free to type them in the chat. I'm happy to answer questions. Otherwise, I'm going to take a couple of movies and then sign out. See if there's anything else interesting I might point the telescope at after Mars. I could try to point at Saturn, but it's pretty low. It's probably in the trees as seen from the observatory. So take a look at it tomorrow during Public Night live stream. Maybe the moon. Maybe I'll point at the moon after getting a couple of views of Mars and take a look at how the last quarter moon is doing. Oh, there it goes again. Oh no, it's gone. Yeah, the unpleasantness of observing when it's mostly cloudy. See if the moon is out. I'm going to zoom all the way back out and go to auto exposure. And there you can actually see, you can see sort of the size of Mars there. The moon is going to take up, if we get the moon in the frame, the moon is going to take up about half of this, or sorry, about half the moon is going to take up the field of view here. So you can kind of see how big the Mars is compared to the moon. Let's move the telescope over to the moon and see if we can see anything. All right, so there you can see the telescope slewing over in the live video. Yeah, it's not very clear. Okay. All right, so we're on the moon. Let's see if we got anything there. Hey, yeah, we got a little bit of something going on. Let's look over at a lot of clouds. Let's look over at going to get the telescope motion controls here and move over and look at, kind of interested in this lower right corner. So I'm moving the telescope just a small amount with these buttons and waiting for it to come back. Moon, are you out there? Oh, there it comes, there it comes. Yeah, and you can see that crater, Tycho crater, with a lot of rays around the bottom. Let's move the telescope this way and this way, and zoom in on some of these craters in here. Hey, that looks pretty good. Of course, the clouds are coming and going, and it's kind of twinkly, so that's not so great, but okay view for a couple of seconds of the moon. I want to try to get this. Yeah, there's the Tycho crater, which is this really strong crater with a lot of ejector rays on the surface of the moon. When you see the full moon, you can really see those reflecting a lot of light. And then you can also see some of the Maria up here. There's the Sea of Tranquility there. The Apollo 11 landing site is right about there. Just as there's a Mars Google map, there's also a moon Google map. Yeah, so there's where the Apollo 11 landing is, sort of right in there. That's Tranquility, and this one up here is Serenity. And they actually have zoomed in levels on all of the Apollo landing sites, which is pretty awesome. So we are looking at, in the live view in the camera right now, you can see that Tycho crater really clearly. And I think we would also be able to see the Copernicus crater, which is up here. So let's take a look at that again. Oops, come back. Tycho crater. Let me move the telescope over. Yes, there's the Copernicus crater up there. Very nice. A little bit of atmospheric dispersion. So, you see a little bit of color on some of the bright areas. And the atmosphere is acting a little bit like a prism. The focus could be a little bit better. Let me adjust the focus a bit. Yeah, it's a little bit better. But still, the limiting factor is the atmospheric turbulence. The moon is quite low right now. Mars is higher, but it's still showing a lot of turbulence. Yeah, that's not bad. I really like, especially these craters sort of at the edge of the Maria, when they're partially in sunlight, partially in shadow, and you get a really nice contrast of them. And you don't have that many big craters then on the Maria, so the ones that are there really stand out. And there you can see kind of a mountain range there. You can see kind of a ridge. All right, well, not a great clear night, but got a nice quick view of Mars and the moon. And given the weather, I think I'm going to go ahead and sign out and shut down. But I think I'll try again tomorrow night, get some more video and see a different side of Mars. So Mars takes 25 hours to go through one rotation. And so tomorrow, a little bit earlier in the evening, see a slightly different part of Mars. So try that again tomorrow and then the next night, and kind of build up a nice series of videos and images on Mars. Let me go back. Actually, before I sign off, let me just go back to Mars and see how it's doing. I'm going to move the telescope right back to Mars. All right, there goes the telescope. On this camera, you can see the CMOS video camera that's on the back of the telescope there, and the control computer, and then the power supply for the dew heater, keeping the front of the telescope warm. Hey, okay, so it looks a little bit better actually. Get kind of a lower amplification here and a shorter exposure time. And you can kind of compare the size of the moon to Mars there. So the moon is half a degree in angular size. And Mars is around, what is it, 20-something, 25 arc seconds. I looked it up earlier today, but I've already forgotten. So let's, a little bit shorter exposure. Hey, that's definitely looking better. It's more steady and it's sharper. I did adjust the focus a little bit. I'm going to grab a video of that. Hey, maybe I can see some polar ice cap. I think I can maybe see a little bit of white right here. Yeah, okay, all right. In some of the steady frames, I'm seeing a little bit of white from the polar ice cap. And again, the lighter area here is Hellas Planitia, and the lighter area up here is Arabia Terra. Well, I don't see any canals or Dying Martian cities or spaceships blasting off to come invade. But it's nice to see. It's nice to see the ice cap clearly. But definitely either spring or fall on Mars right now, given that that ice cap really isn't tilted towards us one way or the other. You get ice caps on both the, this is the North Pole of Mars up here, this is the South Pole of Mars down here. And you get ice caps on both, and depending on which one is tilted towards you, you can see them a little bit better. And the ice caps get bigger and smaller, of course, in Martian winter versus summer. It's opposite for the opposite hemispheres, just like the Earth. So which one is which? All right, this is actually looking better, and the weather is a little bit better. So people are watching the stream and coming out of the stream. Maybe I'll just step out and we can watch Mars for a little while, and I'm going to grab a few more videos to make sharp images of. So I'll mute myself and hide for a minute, and then come back in to sign off. All right, looks like Mars is fading out again, and it's getting close to 11:30 here. So I think I'm gonna sign off and shut down the telescope. But got a nice good videos. I did look up the angular size of Mars, so it's 25 arc seconds in angular diameter right now. It's at a distance of 62 million kilometers, about 0.4 astronomical units, or about 40% of the distance from the Earth to the Sun. Okay, came back for a minute. I'm going to grab one more video. Okay, and see how those turn out. See if we can get some nice sharp image and identify some of the surface features. All right, those of you who are watching live, thanks for tuning in. Glad it worked out to get a couple of images. Maybe try this again tomorrow night or the next night. Certainly, I do these live streams for public night on Tuesday night, so also try to look at Mars on Tuesday night, well, tomorrow night. All right, thanks for tuning in. Bye.